Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1050 of our daily content grind. Today, I am in a Micromaster mood, so I'm going to determine, all by myself, as the expert that I am going to give a rundown of Micromasters I think deserve a nod to actually be elevated up to the status of mainline Transformers. So, when it comes to this, there is precedent. We have done something like this before. In fact, one of them is in this shot as we speak. We've already had a full-size Big Daddy. Now, granted, it's just for the sake of a repaint of a car that was already kind of like a throwback hot rod. And I get it. It was just an homage, a convenient homage. But let's get this straight. Everyone kind of loved it. Everyone kind of loved seeing it. It didn't matter that it was kind of inaccurate, or it was literally just it was wildly inaccurate. What am I talking about? It's literally just a Cybertron toy repainted. But we still liked it. It was still fun to see. It was hilarious to go to watch kids go to a store and ask their parents to buy them Big Daddy. Awkward. So, there's precedent for actually taking Micromaster characters and upgrading them to larger toys. We've done it with others that we're going to mention in this. There's also precedent for doing it in the comic books or fiction in general. Several times over, we have seen Micromaster characters get promoted to the rank of full-size Transformer because, well, they're available characters. Let's be honest, very few Micromasters had anything going on fiction-wise throughout their lifespans. But that does mean, clever writers like the ones we had in IDW 1.0, they get their hands on them, we get some kind of interesting things. Slide here was an interesting character, and we had so much more potential. So, we're just going to run through a whole bunch of Micromasters I think would make for really neat full-size toys if they were to go this route. And we're going to start with a few of my childhood favorites. And that is going to start with High Jump. High Jump is interesting because most Micromasters change in a very, typical 180-degree flip to get the legs out. Fold down the car hood to reveal the robot head. Arms are just rotate out. High Jump does things differently. So the back, the legs of him are, like you see right there, that's the back side of the vehicle mode. What you're seeing as his belly is the top of the vehicle mode. He has a unique transformation to him. One that really isn't duplicated in any other Transformer that I can see. It makes him stand out. And as a full-size figure that could actually take this unique transformation and run with it, I think there is merit there. I think this could have been a fun figure to have. So things like that. This is kind of what we're talking about. I remember as a kid, I thought this was my Trailbreaker, because I was too young to have Trailbreaker. I was too young to have the early run of G1 toys. So this was in my head a Trailbreaker stand-in. Obviously very different. But another one I really liked, another one that I was really attached to as a kid, was Powertrain. And I like this because any Optimus Prime mold could potentially be a Powertrain. And if they actually did come out with a fiction or anything that gave Powertrain any kind of credibility and character value, you probably would see the occasional Optimus Prime with an orange repaint that isn't Huffer. We've had that. Optimus Prime and Huffer have shared a few molds before. But in this case, I always really liked this one. I liked that he was so much taller than the other Micromasters. And I liked that he was again, an atypical transformation for that toy line. He was kind of like the Optimus Prime of my Micromasters as a little kid. Of course he was. He was the truck. We're Transformer brained. people, or like the leader is the semi-truck. The truck-shaped one is the leader. It's just the way we've been raised on this stuff. Another favorite of mine is Tailspin. Now, I love the look of him. I don't know why his car kibble ending up there makes it look, you know, it gives me some kind of hope that you could do some like really interesting like character silhouette out of him. I think I always imagined that was like a magnet weapon, just so because of the shape of it. But again, it's because, hey, it's a dome racer. If you've seen any of my videos about like anytime we've swapped around vehicle modes, I will usually say like this person should be a dome racer, because no one transforms into a dome racer. Technically Wheeljack, but you know, not really also. So this is, again, me just kind of like try to push my narrative. This is the first one we had. Well, one of the first ones we had. But admittedly, blue vehicle mode, red face, the gray, I feel like he would look too much like Trax to get away with him being released. If I wanted a dome car, I'm going to have to settle for Detour, who admittedly could pass for a Bumblebee in vehicle mode, but at the very least the robot mode looks a little bit more unique in colors. I would take it either way. It's a vehicle mode I want someone to claim, you know, so instead of just getting it occasionally, we could kind of cycle through new iterations and get it more often. Can't help it. I like the vehicle. Here's one that is a standard vehicle. We really do not need him whatsoever as uniqueness, but I want Road Handler for character uniqueness, because he's a pro wrestler of all things. But I also need him to exist in a modern toy to validate my headcanon, because I look at the fact that he has, if you haven't heard it before, here you go again. He's got a sports car alt mode, so he's designed to be fast. He's got a yellow body. He's got a blue pelvis, he's got a blue face, and he has a helmet that is kind of similar to Prowl's. This, I swear this guy is a pre-reformatting Cheetor. Like, Cheetor born at the end of G1 and is only like 300 years old when we get to Beast Wars, which is very young for a Transformer. And this is what this is what he was before he became the Cheetor we know. He looks it. Look at him. He looks it. Someone validate my headcanon, please. I don't have many headcanons, but I keep that one. If we're looking at ones that would just be cool to have as modern toys, Tracer looks really, really neat. We've got attack helicopters in Transformers. This is, again, not one that we necessarily need to have represented. Vehicle representation for. I just think the vehicle and the robot look really cool, and I would like to see them take this on as a modern figure. I'm not sure how. Like, I was gonna say, like, maybe he's a Spinister retool, but no cockpit legs. That makes it a little bit different. Makes it a little bit trickier to do. I feel like there's room in there somewhere. I feel like we could, if we really, really wanted to. Now, this entire section so far has been dedicated to characters that have vehicle modes that, for the most part, we already have accounted for. They're just characters that I like the look of, that I wouldn't mind seeing brand new stuff for. So I'm going to end off this section with another one who we pretty much have vehicles like this, but I just like him, you know? And I would like to see this come back around. Don't look at me like that. It's not my fault. He's named that way. But that said, jokes aside, Erector is a good-looking robot mode. Like, I do like his overall look. I like the overall gimmick. I feel like with larger Micromasters, you could actually have something a little bit more interesting thrown into the mix to be like the premium-sized figure of this new little subline that we've created. You imagine having Erector at leader size. Stop laughing. but you would almost pack him almost like Earthrise Optimus Prime, where you'd have like this trailer that could do all this transforming, and at the leader budget, we're going to give it a lot that it can do, but it'll actually do more than the Earthrise trailer. As a result, like, we'll get like the full battle station mode out of it, because the Erector inside is actually smaller than you'd think. Stop laughing. Because it would still be like modern mini bot size no matter what. You know, technically, if you wanted to go super cheap on the trailer, you could even probably get away with that at the Voyager class, but that might be pushing it. $60 for Erector is a lot. Admittedly, I'm shooting for the moon here, but I do think there's room for this play value. And you know, frankly, I've known people who paid a lot more than that to get an Erector. Stop laughing! I am now going to proceed into the characters that suit vehicle modes that are lacking in modern Transformers. These are among the ones that I keep saying are vehicles that aren't claimed or they just never do. So to bring these characters back around, this would actually solve that problem. And that starts with Treadbolt. We technically have a modern Treadbolt. It was a classics Jetfire repaint, but it doesn't capture the spirit. Treadbolt in his original form was our first stealth bomber transformer. And again, that's one of those that just kind of floats around. Every now and then they do one as like an alternate Megatron or Croc for some reason. Point being, there's no claim on this vehicle mode. There's no character who goes like, oh yeah, that's the Transformer Stealth Bomber. We have it. We need to bring it back. I still don't understand the name Treadbolt. He has no treads. Treadbolt might be a weapon or projectile that is designed to take out treads. That seems hard to do when flying by a battlefield. But I've seen stranger things. Not the show. I've just seen odd occurrences. It's an idea. It is at the very least an idea. And I wouldn't mind having like the original Stealth Bomber back just so we have someone to claim it. Same for Flak. Every now and then we do get a missile truck, but they've been exceptionally rare the last few years. We had what? I can't even remember what they called him. We had the one from Hunt from the Decepticons, Hailstorm, and then we had like Cybertron Defense Scattershot, and that's basically it. Like the vehicle mode sleeps for long periods of time, and it's unfortunate because it's a cool type of vehicle. I would not mind at all to see Flak come back and actually claim this so we can have it as a permanent thing. Let's move into other military vehicle I happen to like, which is Dropshot. I think Dropshot is just a cool looking robot. I mean, aside from the fact that, yeah, it's an armored truck with like a mounted turret, which is already kind of neat and already something, again, we don't really have as a standard popular Transformer. But also, I don't know what it is. I just like the overall look. I like the beefed out legs. I like these like stuck out chest. Doesn't look bad to me. Maybe the green's a little bit weird with the blue, but I don't mind it. I genuinely do not mind it. It's not bad. I like the overall look. And I wouldn't mind adding a little bit of like firepower to the Autobots once in a while. So I could absolutely go for another Dropshot. And in a very similar vein, there's another one that has a similar vehicle mode with a similar purpose behind it, and this is Shot Bomber. Shot Bomber is not one you may be familiar with. I believe this was packed in with Sky Gary for Transformers Zone. This one, this like really unique looking like space age tank. Like it's a Cybertronian missile tank, but it's almost like a lunar rover was given rockets, which is kind of awesome. We're going to blow up aliens on the moon. Come on, everyone. It's going to be awesome. It's going to look like a Michael Bay movie. I like it. I like the overall look. I like the tone of it. Yeah, I mean, extremely unlikely, but I like it. Now, let's talk Mudslinger. We've dealt with this before, and we've talked about this before. Monster trucks are notoriously hard to get Transformers out of. Ironically, we know 2 are on the way, but they're simplified. You know, they're the Monster Jam collabs, but they're designed for little kids, so they are very, very simplified. This one is always thought to be like nearly impossible because of those gigantic tires that a traditional monster truck requires. How do you cope with those and still make a functioning Transformer? Funny enough, we just got an answer to this in the form of Wild King W Rex Blade that's getting in people's hands in Japan, and they're showing off how the arms transform out of the tire and how it uses the fender of the vehicle mode to lock the tire in. So it has full arm motion and rotation because it's all stuff that unfolds from the tire, and then you fold it all back in. It tucks up into a full-size wheel. You unclip the fender piece, and now it's a free spinning wheel for vehicle mode. Looks really cool. It looks really cool, and I feel like it's the solution we need. I feel like it's not the only piece of the solution, but it's the start. It's the start of what we need to get a proper monster truck Transformer, and I'm here for it, and I want it, and it's been overdue. So hopefully this is actually a viable thing soon. If we're going to continue with the Monster Truck Patrol, this actually is not Monster Truck Patrol. Got ahead of myself. This is Monster Truck Patrol. This is Heavy Tread. Heavy Tread, again, falls into, this is a unique vehicle we never see. This is a tractor puller. So, maybe this is just, this screams redneck. So maybe this is just a southern thing. But it is literally just mud pulling. Like, it's literally just vehicle designed to pull heavy sleds through the mud and just see how far you can pull. So it's, you know, it's a sport of like, how powerful of a machine can you build? How much torque can you get out of that engine before this gives out? Well, this is that type of vehicle. And again, not something we see any representation of. Those oddball race cars, like dragsters, funny cars, tractor pullers, we don't see any of those. I mean, granted, it's not exactly something I see every week on TV, you know? And like, it's not, you know, I feel like it's like fallen out of favor sporting event wise. But still, it doesn't look bad. It's kind of a cool looking vehicle. I wouldn't mind them taking a stab at it. Here's Sea-Watch, and I think this is an obvious one. There's just not enough boats. Transformers just doesn't do boats, and I get it. I get it. You can't really scoot around on a floor or on a table pretending to play with a boat because a boat needs water, and you don't want kids taking their Transformers into the bathtub because metal parts and paint and stickers and all that don't like that very much. So I understand. I get it. We don't get many boats at all. But I do think we need a few, because there's a lot of aquatic vehicles out there. It would be nice to represent a few of them. I wouldn't mind a speedboat. So yeah, Sea-Watch on my list. I absolutely would love to see a larger version. And one more for the list of unusual vehicles that we do not have real Transformers of, and that's Countdown. Countdown is just, it's a lunar rover. And I don't understand. Like, when we have, like, the Optimus Prime lunar rover, and that's a conceptual lunar rover. That's not real yet. That's not on the moon yet. Countdown is based on the actual lunar rover that actually drove around on the moon. So, it's kind of cool. It's a really cool vehicle mode to have. I'm shocked that the only representation it's ever had is just one Micromaster. Granted, we did a modern version of it with Omega Supreme, and there is a actual, like, full-size Countdown toy, but that's a missile truck. Kind of a far cry. Kind of a far cry from a lunar rover. I don't know, you can either explore the moon or fire an ICBM. You pick you pick. So yeah, again, cool vehicles. It just we don't have full-size Transformers of. Would love to see. There is one more on my list, and this is simply out of the fact that I think they deserve it. And that's Holly. Holly is basically Wheelie, or more properly, Bumblebee, for Transformers Victory. And I feel like on a mini, I think it's like serves that role really, really well. And I don't think gets too irritating, has a lot of story attached to just himself. Yeah. I wouldn't mind him just like getting an upgrade and joining the ranks of the mini-bots. Like, I think just in just how much characterization he has compared to most Micromasters and how much animation attention he got, I think it's deserved. Just flat out. I think he deserves to be like, I think Pinocchio deserves to be a real boy. I think that's how it boils down to. So yeah, I've had Micromasters on the mind today, so I thought I'd just share a few ideas, a few wants, wishes that will never come true, but it's fun to say it out loud, and it's fun to gauge opinions on. Let me know in the comment section below what Micromaster you would love to see a full-size toy of, and with that, I will call it a video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.